Hi guys, Geraldine Ralph, also known as a Daycare Diva, and I am here today to talk to you about stressful times. Obviously, we're all in the middle of a pandemic and everybody has been thrown into an upheaval, and we're all spending a lot more family time together. Last night, I was hanging out with my daughter, and the two of us were watching a series of unfortunate events, which is ironic. I almost never watch TV. I'm always up doing things, I'm busy, moving around. But last night, she was sitting there all snuggled up on the couch and home from college. And I was like, hey, let's hang out. We're going to watch this movie. And before the movie started, she said, the oldest girl in the show, it's a story, if you haven't seen the show, it's a story about three kids who are orphans. The oldest is an inventor, the second oldest reads books, and then there's a baby. She's the biter. So, anyways, the oldest girl in the story is Violet. And Violet always has a solution. So my daughter was like, when I was a little girl, Violet, I always thought that Violet reminded me exactly of you. And I go, why? Because I've never seen the movie. And she said, oh, just watch and you'll see. So in every scenario, Violet has her little baby sister in tow and her brother and her parent, they come home one day and their family's home is burned down. Her parents were in it. They're gone. They're dead. and that's not a funny thing. Anyway, so Violet is just, Violet greets every single series of unfortunate events with this placid look on her face. And instead of getting all fired up about whatever is coming her way, she just takes her little hair tie out, puts her hair back, and looks around and says, there has to be something. So she looks around and she finds whatever it is that she can use to invent a way out of the situation that she's in. So instead of freaking out and crying and dissolving into tears, Violet looks around and she finds anything that she can fashion into the next strategy for escaping the situation that she's in. She throws her baby sister up on her hip, grabs her brother, and off they go. So I thought it was very funny that my daughter, her first impression of me, and she said that was at like 6 or 7 years old, was that I was Violet. And the funny thing about that is when my kids were younger, I was always a mom. I was like, we're not having a bunch of screen time. So my kids never had cable. Well, not until they were much older. When they were younger, they didn't have cable. And so they only had like 3 or 4 movies that they had gotten for birthdays, and A Series of Unfortunate Events was one of them, which I think is hilarious because I didn't want to sit around watching TV. So I was like, well, if you only have 3 movies to watch, you're going to get really bored of those and you're going to want to go outside and play. So it's funny to me that A Series of Unfortunate Events is the main character. Here we are, 20 something years later, well, not 20, I don't know, whatever, 15 years later, sitting on the couch watching A Series of Unfortunate Events, and the main character is Violet, and that's who my daughter sees me to be. So that's what I think is really cool, is that's always who I try to be. I always try to be the kind of mom that's like, all right, we're having a problem, and we're not going to get all tangled up in the emotions of the problem. We're just going to look around, see what we have available to us, develop a strategy, and just start rolling forward. And that's the way that my daughter sees me, and I hope that that's the way that all of you are feeling in this situation. I know it's hard, it's not easy to do, but in situations like this, when you're feeling overwhelmed and frustrated and you don't know what to do, take a minute to center yourself, look around and see what is the good that can come out of this. What can I create from what's available, from all the things that are available to me right now? And that is what I am about to do. So I was talking to my parents this morning. I could see the stress on all the parents' faces as they're coming in. Of course, myself, I'm concerned about my own health. I'm concerned about the health of my own children. Again, I'm a micro business owner. I have one business. And well, actually I have a business and a half. I also shoot family portraits on the side. And I'm on my own. If something happens to me, then my family is not going to be taken care of. So just like all the rest of you, I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned about my health and safety. I'm very concerned about, like everybody, will I have a job when this is done? Will I have a home when this is done? Is the plummeting stock market going to wipe out the rest of my retirement fund? I just had a birthday. I'm getting closer to retirement every day. I can sit around and think about all of these things, and I could let it overwhelm me, and I could have it take me out at the knees. But I have to think about the energy that I'm bringing to the 6 little faces who are going to show up on my doorstep every day, that are going to want to know, what are you doing when the whole world is falling apart? How are you going to make me feel good? How are you going to make me feel confident? How are you going to make me feel like you've got it all under control? So, what we're going to do is tie back our hair, look around, figure out what we can do to make the situation better. And that's what we're going to do. So, it is hard, it's very emotional. And all of us are wondering, at the end of this, what's going to happen? The good news is I've weathered a few storms. So, so we have a plan. I have a plan in place. And right now my plan is, as I mentioned, to step up the cleaning and to be available to the children emotionally and physically, and to create an environment that's safer. So I'm going to take the next week off, and I am going to create an outdoor classroom for your children, because those of you who need to work need to be sane. It's really hard, if you've never done it, to figure out how to balance being at home and working with your children, and creating some sense of normalcy so that they don't freak out. Because when they freak out, of course, it's hard to watch your children freak out. Like, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to be the one with the answers. So we're going to work together. We're going to create some answers. That's what we're going to do. We're going to put back our hair, and we're going to roll up our sleeves, and we're going to make shit happen. So what I need from you is donations. We're going to be working on creating an outdoor play space. So we're going to have the indoor play space available to the children for part of the day, as little as possible, or when the inclement weather happens. Obviously, we know right now the facts that we have about this virus are that it is spread through contact on hard surfaces. It's also spread through the air. So it's important for people to have a lot of ventilation, a lot of circulation of air around us, and 6 feet. They're doing the whole 6 feet of distance. So if you saw our park pictures today, or park video, you see we have this gigantic field, and there are a lot of great spaces in the field where we can be apart from each other but still be together. My kids are already trained to go to the park, and so they know how to listen. So I'm going to be covering a lot of that when we do come back in session. We're going to close down for a week. Another thing that I'm going to be doing is creating the outdoor classroom. So if my families have extra things laying around the house that they don't need, I would love to have some more things. So what I'm going to do is, I have this really big garage space. I'm looking around, what do I have available to me? I have this big garage space, and the nice thing about that is, obviously, we can open up the doors and we can have lots of fresh air coming in through the garage. I'm going to be pulling out everything in my garage, and hopefully, if magical things happen, I'm going to see if I can paint my walls so it's nice and bright and cheery in there, because right now it looks like a cinder block walls. Boring. Not very exciting. I already have a padded floor in the bottom of my garage from some activity, or from a couple of years ago. I had an outdoor classroom, and I had a baby that was crawling around, so I already put a lot of the outdoor flooring in. And yeah, so I'm going to clean it up and make it safe for your kids. So I'm excited to show you. This is going to be an opportunity to step up and create an even more incredible environment than what we already have, and to create a safe space for the children. And I also want to take you on this journey with me, because you know what? It's not hard. It's not easy. I know that a lot of times I come to things with this happy, cheery, whatever personality, and that is truly who I am. But there are times when, of course, I'm concerned. Of course, I'm wondering, okay, what the fuck? What am I going to do here? And so you get to come along for the journey with me. So it's going to be fun. Buckle up, guys. It's a big ride. It's a big, crazy ride. So that's what we're going to do.